Welsh section, sort of a section B, but it was an old-fashioned, really heavy type.
Yeah.
I mean, I had him from a foal, and he was 36 when he died in 2004. But we used to get Reckitt's Blue on his tail. And I don't even know if they still do that now, but it just used to take the yellow out and put a bluey, or if you weren't careful, a green tinge in it.
Yeah. You get all those shampoos, can't you, with different...
Yeah, oh yeah, they do all sorts now, don't they?
And I'm always a bit worried with those.
Well, because all mine have been either sort of dark bay to black brown, or bay. You don't worry too much because they always look clean. No. Quick bath, and look fine.
We were saying last night, this lady came last night, they were looking for something to do county showing with. Weren't sure whether they wanted a 5-year-old because the daughter's only 16 and a little bit nervous. We were saying, greys are a pain, but they look stunning when they're clean.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, they do tend to stand out, mind you. Whether they stand out in Mountain and Moorland with all the other Connemara's that are grey, but certainly when we used to do the Hunter Youngstock, we were just another bay along with 40 other bays in the ring, whereas different colour, at least they spot you. She's very sensible, isn't she?
Very, very laid back. But, we took her out packing the other day, and we went, before it got too wet, across the fields and to go down a lane and past some pigs, and mine's 14, and been past them no end of times, but it was always silly. And, she gave her a lead. She had a bit of a look when she heard the squealing, but then you say, go on, it's all right.
From Ireland, they ought to know them, but yet they probably don't meet them over there anymore now, do they? So did you buy her straight from Ireland then?
No, she's a friend of somebody that Sharon teaches.
Oh, right.
Bought her for a daughter, but bought her, it was the other side of Warwick somewhere. He obviously imported it from Ireland.
Yes, yeah.
Bought it for a 12-year-old daughter, and the daughter just lost interest.
Oh, it's a shame, isn't it?
And the lady that owns her, she's horsey, but wasn't competent enough to ride, or didn't want to ride her herself, and didn't really know what to do. As regards selling her sort of thing. It's difficult when your daughter doesn't want to ride to show them off.
Well, that's it. How do you show them off? Yeah.
And she wasn't very well muscled then, and was a lot slighter. So we said we'd have her, and just because I've got a space to put the DIY livery and just play around with her. And Sharon's very into a dressage. And
yes, I will say that Kiva was impressed. She said this was the best school she'd seen.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in being advanced, but just in the way of going, rather than the ones that have had the head forced in and just coming back into the bridle rather than going through the back and the rest.
Sharon's got a horse that's at the advanced medium level. Obviously that's been difficult with competing because obviously everything we've had to do is training because she's too... I've competed her a couple of times, but I don't ride as well. I ride all right, but you know your limitations.
I'm afraid I do very much so. Part of my problem is, though, that I've not ridden a lot for nearly 20 years because with breeding them and showing them in hand, I've just hacked out on the road, so it's just walk and trot. And then with the old mare going lame at round about the same time as the 4-year-old broke a leg, it was just like one thing after another. So I really need to get back into it. And as you get older, you get stiffer.
Yes.
But now I've got Kiva on my yard. Yeah. She's an instructor as well as a List 3 dressage judge. So she can not only do some schooling, she can shout at me and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
And that's what she just needs, just to continue her education. She's, she's just sort of, she's more or less understanding leg yield. Sometimes she dives across a little bit, but
I think if they offer you something, you don't mind, though, do you?
No,
even if they offer you the wrong thing, certainly if you just sort of correct them and say, well...
Yeah. And some of her transitions have got better and better, but her initial reaction is, what is it you want? So it's not an instant transition, but you wouldn't really expect that again as a 5-year-old.
That's it.
So when you ride horses that are, at a different level, you kind of almost expect too much, don't you?
Yes, yeah. Well, I think my 8-year-old's 8 going on 3 at the moment. But she's a funny combination of very lazy but very tizzy at times. But if you can just catch her in the right mood, she would be absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they've not brought anything in yet like a bundle of bottom.
They've
if they did Pilates for the brain, she'd be away.
They've got to have the right attitude, haven't they?
That's it. And I honestly don't know where her frame of mind comes from. Because the mother wasn't a bit like that.
No.
And she's by mill law. who's got a fair few eventers,
Yeah.
and the only thing we can think of is that he's got a fair bit of Arab in his background. And we just wonder if it's the Arab that's just coming out the wrong way, a bit
Could
silly.
be, yeah.
Almost arsey,
My little Gelding was an Arab cross at his moment.
It's a very nice school, this, isn't it?
Yeah, we put it down about 5 years ago, did it ourselves, but spent a lot of time researching the surface and the drainage and the...
Because it's very flat here, which is lovely, but it has its downside, doesn't it?
But it's been, touch wood, yeah, when we had all those bad frosts, not this year, but last year, and everyone else's school was frozen, this was fine.
This was okay, that's good.
So it just wants a bit of a top up now in the rubber in places, but it's trying to get somebody that will just deliver 10 tonnes rather than 20 tonnes for not an extortionate price. Only because I don't have to harrow it too often.
I was going to say I've got that spring ride down, and okay, it's only 2 years old, the school, but Kiva does lunge on it. But that does need harrowing regularly.
Yeah, I perhaps do this once a month. But I suppose, the children's ponies aren't very big, so it doesn't get a lot of... Well, I think when you've got big horses jumping and things all the time, that's when they...
Or youngsters that suddenly go, oh, what's that? And stick their feet in,
She has just got better and better and better. Certainly the last sort of 6 weeks, you can just see her sort of growing up in front of you. She's been a real pleasure to play with. Because she is so easy.
As you say, if at 5 she's had a girl who's not been interested, so has not done very much with her for a time,
I mean, all she
then experience-wise, she's probably more like a 4-year-old, isn't she?
But I think having the video helps because
pictures
can tell a million lies. Well, as can videos, I suppose. But...
Well, and people do like to see pictures of them jumping.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, if there's lots of pictures, I don't mind seeing a jumping one, but I'd rather see the horse just stood up. You know.
Well, we've taken hundreds of pictures of her over the last couple of months, and we've got some really nice ones in the yard of her just stood with no tack on. But then, I suppose as pony club mums, if we were looking for a pony for the children, you want to see it doing something,
that's right,
not just stood.
Yeah.
So it's,
as you say, but being able to stick a video is brilliant.
Yeah. But again, a lot of this lady was saying last night, a lot of these videos, they're so well edited.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, they go from one extreme to the other. So the ones that are well edited like that, and then when I looked at yours on YouTube, when you finished, it brings you loads of others up. So I just clicked on a couple, and I did feel sorry because one was obviously the mum videoing, and she'd obviously no idea where this pony was going cross country.
No.
And the camera was in the sky and on the floor and panning different jumps, and then suddenly you go like, oh, the horse is here, Although I don't think I'd have put that on quite like that.
No. Yeah, well, I was still on top of carefully balanced on top of a log videoing some of the cross country, and I was turning around on the log thinking, oh, don't
fall over, that's it.
But it's been so wet to sort of get them out and do anything.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do a bit of local judging, and it just helps the income, 40, 50 quid a day, cash in hand.
Yeah.
And I've had about 5 cancelled so far.
Have you? Yeah.
I was supposed to be doing Working Hunter on Sunday, and that got cancelled, but fortunately somebody else rang up and said, your show's been cancelled, hasn't it? I said, yeah. They said, do you want to come and do our indoor one? I said, okay then. It's only local riding club and that, but... Stop this.